This is Father Dominic Holtz coming to you from Rome, Italy, with a word of hope for Monday of the second week of Easter. In today's Gospel, Jesus comes to Nicodemus, and we hear the famous discussion about being born again. Of course, this is famous in part because of the confusion on Nicodemus's part. He wonders how someone can be born again. If you're already born, how can it happen a second time? But Jesus plays on words. The Greek word to be born again can also mean to be born anew, to be born from heaven, from on high. And Jesus plays on that to draw out Nicodemus further to seek out the truth he's trying to share. But at the end of this discussion, Jesus has something to say to us about the nature of those who are born from above, that is, born again. He says it's like the wind. The wind, the Spirit, blows where it wills, and no one knows where it's coming from or where it's going. But when it's blowing, you know it. You know it's there. Now, a lot of people hear this passage. They talk about the Spirit blowing where it will. And they think that this means something like the church, the Christian life needs to be crazy. It needs to break expectations. You don't live according to customs or traditions. You just do whatever you want to, and that's what it means to live in the Spirit. And that's not what Jesus is talking about at all. As we can see from this passage, the question here is about birth. It's about origin. And the truth of the matter is, when we're born naturally, we can know where we're from. People can say, oh, I know from your parentage, or I can tell from your DNA where you come from. And then they think they can know who you are, what you're all about. However, that's not the way of the new life in Jesus. What we've been before in our lives doesn't tell us anything about those who are born again in the Spirit. And nothing about where we find ourselves in life tells us the destiny that we have in the risen Christ and the Spirit of the risen Lord. The new life in Jesus comes to us from above, whatever our past has been, whether we've been raised in a pious household to know Jesus from our earliest days, or whether we lived a dissolute life and have only come to have a great and radical conversion, whether we believed once in Jesus, turned away, walked away, and have only now returned, whether we're learned in the Scriptures or hardly know the Scriptures at all. All of these can be the background to someone who has been born anew, who has been born from above. But the truth for all of them is, you can see it. To have the risen life of Jesus changes you. It changes you in a way that people who don't know anything about where you've been, they have no idea where you're going. They know you are marked by this transformation of your life, the transformation that comes from being born again, born from on high in the risen Lord, filled with the power of His Spirit, no longer bound by who they have been, no longer worried about where they're going, but resting here and now in the power and the grace of the risen Christ. And that, my brothers and sisters, is a word of hope.